So what's new in Rider 3? In Rider 1, we saw a rider struggling with balance, a little bit wobbly in her hands. In 2, the rider was better than that. Heels stayed down, focus stayed up, looked more comfortable on the horse. What are the expectations in Rider 3? That we now can maintain a correct basic position, that our balance is good, both left to right and front to back, that our hands can be quiet most of the time, our focus stays up, and most of the things we're doing at walk, jog, lope, trot, and canter are automatic stages of learning. We don't have to work hard at it. We should no longer see any clinging on with the legs, and we should be now starting to see some balance and rhythm, where the rider's not just sitting on the horse, but the horse and the rider are now a dance team, and they are moving in unison. The riders should now be able to go out, get in the ring, find the circle, and fix that basic position by themselves. Their eyes should be up, their hands should be quiet, and they should now be focusing mentally on the job they're now going to do ahead. They will then pick up the sitting trot or jog, and once they've done that, we will see quietness in their seat, softness in their hands. Sitting, please. Everybody's sitting. That's it. Relax, calm and cool. And they should be able to rise trot and lengthen stride on their horse. So now we don't want to see them just rising, but rising comfortably, lengthening the stride, showing a difference between jog and trot, and head is up and moving out. And they should be able to easily do up-down transitions. And back to walk, please. So this should now be able to happen in a relatively short distance. They're now going to take their feet out of the stirrups and do some of the same things. Go ahead when you're ready and sit trot or jog. You'll notice our English rider has crossed her irons, so the irons are not going to bang the horse in the elbows when she's going. And sit trotting. And nice quiet rhythm. One hand on the reins, other hand out towards the horse's ears. Nice and still, so they are relaxed, they are soft. One-handed airplane, hand out to the side. Good. Both hands back on the reins. And nice and relaxed, heels down, soft rhythm. Good job. And pick up the stirrups without looking. By Rider 3, the rider should be able to ride large and small circles without near as many markers. And for sure, they should be now prepared to ride a straight line because they've learned how to use their legs to keep the horse going straight. Focus, nice soft hands on this turn, and this rider should be able to ride a nice straight line down these cones. Our Western rider should do the same thing at a jog. As we see her coming towards us as an instructor, you would check. Are her heels about even? Are her knees about even? Her hips even? Is the zipper on her jacket down the center of the horse? And are her shoulders even? Okay, we're going to watch our first rider now. She's coming across, she's meeting the corner of the diagonal line, and she's aiming her horse's nose across the diagonal. When she gets to the first black marker, she will sit down, relax, slow down. Now she's going to try to pick up the change. Good, and she looked and she got it. Our second rider now, she's approaching the diagonal line. As soon as she gets to the black marker, she will sit down and slow down. She's going to feel that shoulder now, and she should rise with the green splint boot. Okay, and she got the change early, so that's good. So now we have our Western rider trotting along nicely, nice and soft, nice and free. He's approaching the marker to indicate the diagonal. He's going to come across. When he meets the black jug, he will slow the horse to a jog and sit down. This is the rider that feels with his hips. Slow her down, feel, soft, relax, and he has the correct diagonal. By Rider 3, our riders should find it quite easy to show speed and size variation in circles. Notice we've taken away some of the markers, so we should be able to jog or sit trot a small circle and immediately be able to find our diagonal, pick up that trot, and lengthen stride into a rising trot. So we will just watch both the English and Western rider for a few seconds and notice how they can comfortably sit down, stay nice and soft, keep the circle round, and keep on the correct diagonal. And when necessary, they can lengthen stride or shorten stride and find the diagonal again. By now, our riders are very competent at being able to do transitions. In most places on this ring, I have two markers. The first marker is where they start to think about the transition. The second marker is where they actually do the transition. So they're going to warn the horse and then start to apply the aids correctly. And by the time they get to the second one, it should be ready. So we're just going to watch our riders now and see how smooth and soft they can get these transitions. Nice and calm, nice and relaxed. So up-down transitions. Notice the rider is not fading off the rail. She's keeping the horse on the rail. She's not diving into the corner. She's keeping him nice and honest and straight. Good focus, nice quiet hands, good 1, 2, 3 rhythm on that lope. So we're expecting all of these things now, that these riders can put the whole package together by Rider 3. Notice how quiet his hands were, and they both have picked up the correct lead both times. Now we're going to add on to that emergency stop. We worked on the emergency stop in both Rider 1 and Rider 2, and we actually stopped. I told you we were going to use that skill again and not to forget it. Now we're not going to stop. First step. In the circle they are riding now, we want energy. We want those horses going forward. So we want to see them kick the horse a little bit, make it walk forward with some energy. If it jogs a little bit, that's even okay. They're slowly going to start opening the door with that inside open rein. Keep kicking and keeping those horses going forward. We don't want them to get small too quickly. They're going to bring their head softly to the inside, keeping the energy happening, keeping them going forward. And slowly they'll make that circle smaller and smaller and smaller. And eventually they will stop with that horse's head way around by their foot. Step 1, get the hind end of the horse reaching up and going forward like you're going somewhere. So kick left, right, or with both legs. Get some energy happening. Step 2, keep breathing, look ahead where you want to go. Step 3, slowly open the door with that inside open rein and yield with your outside rein so the horse can bend his head. Keep the energy happening, slowly make the circle smaller by asking the horse to bring his head closer to your inside leg. Play with that inside rein, and when it feels soft like butter, then ask the horse to stop by just saying, whoa. Don't pull back anymore on the rein or the horse will brace. In Rider 3, we expect the riders to now be able to ride their horses forward in a circle and produce the correct bend. So what does that mean? In Rider 2, they bent their head to the inside. That's a start. But now If we were hanging from the ceiling and looking down and we drew a chalk circle on the ground, we would expect that horse's spine from right between his ears to his tail to be bent on the same curve as that circle. So we're going to watch the riders produce bend in this circle. So step one, they're going to get the horses moving forward with energy. Once they have that happening, they're going to use their inside direct rein to hip the horse's nose just a hair to the inside. But they're not going to get bend if they just use that inside rein. They also have to use that outside rein as a support rein. Support rein means it holds as much contact as necessary to get the inside rein to work. And now they want the ribs to also arc into the shape of the circle, so they'll be using their outside leg to keep the horse going forward, but even more important, they'll be using their inside leg in a press and release fashion to actually ask the horse to bend his ribs a little bit away from their inside leg. So here we see all three of these riders are getting some bend. So again, inside hand is direct, outside rein is supporting, inside leg is asking the horse to yield his ribs, outside leg will keep the horse going forward if he starts to think about slowing down. So start of collection. This is bend. I've heard rumors that some coaches call this next rein effect the reign of terror. It's actually called a reign of opposition. And once you learn how to use it correctly, it will just solve so many of your problems. It will help you a whole bunch if you're dealing with barrel racers, and those barrel racers are going into that third barrel with the horse's head to the outside and the horse is leaning towards the barrel and naturally knocks it over. If you have cow chasers and the cow's going down the fence and the same thing happens, the horse turns his head away from the cow and leans his shoulder towards the cow. If we have people riding in the arena, instead of going down to the corner in the arena, you find the horse falling into the middle of the arena. If the horse shies, in all these situations, the rein of opposition can be used to correct that situation. What is a rein of opposition? A rein of opposition is when the rider takes a hold of one rein, putting contact here on the bit, here on the horse's neck, and the hand actually comes across the horn or the gullet of the English saddle towards their outside shoulder. At the same time, the opposite rein must support. So that hand's going to come back a little. On the Western rider, it's going to come back almost as far as their pocket. On the English rider, not nearly as far. The legs. If I am using this rein as a rein of opposition, I'm going to use this leg. And because I'm using this leg and this rein to block the horse, the other leg is going to be open, away from the horse so the horse can move that way. So a rein of opposition is a rein that is used on one side of the horse, this is the left side, to move the horse's shoulders in the opposite direction, to the right. So that is the purpose. It is used to either block or correct the shoulders. And coaches, it'll be your best friend when you learn how to use it correctly. All right, so now we're ready to watch our riders practice a rein of opposition. So as this rider comes down the center line, step one, get some energy happening. So the horse is moving forward smartly with his hind legs. Then she's slowly going to apply her rein of opposition and her support rein and her active leg, and the horse nicely yielded, so definitely responded well to that rein of opposition. Our English rider is now coming. You can see her asking that horse to move on and move forward freely, starting to apply that rein of opposition, being patient, and the horse moves nicely away from the rein of opposition. You're going to watch this one, pressure on the horse's face and neck, and the horse yields and moves away from the pressure. When introducing the leg yield, in which the horse moves forward and sideways, one of the easiest ways to do it is to use the fence. Here the rider will use his right leg and right rein and just push the horse over a little bit sideways, and as soon as she goes over, he's going to release. In Rider 3, once we have achieved a leg yield on the fence, now is the time to do it in a circle. We start with a small circle, and then we're going to ask the horse to spiral out, which means forward and sideways. So all the horse has to do is 1 or 2 steps. So notice the rider's hands and legs. As he comes around the circle, he's bending her a little bit. Now he's going to ask her to move out sideways. And then he'll release her, and he'll just continue on his jog circle. Once again, watch once more. Inside direct rein, outside support rein, inside leg active, and he's just going to push her over. So I would like you to watch his hands and legs just once more. As he's coming towards the camera, you're going to notice inside direct rein, outside support rein, inside leg active, and outside leg used only if the horse is not going forward. What are the aids to produce leg yield? The horse is asked to go forward with energy, then they can use a direct rein on the inside. If the horse does not respond and go sideways enough, they will immediately change that direct rein to a rein of opposition. That inside rein obviously will be working in connection with that inside leg. So that hand might change throughout the whole exercise. Opposite hand is doing exactly what the rein of opposition aid is. It's holding a little bit. That's called a support rein. Outside leg can be open if the horse is going forward freely, or it can be kicking once in a while to ask the horse to continue to go forward. Let's talk about the figure 8. Figure 8 is 2 circles joined together with a straight line. On that straight line, the rider should be riding straight ahead, not curving in one direction or the other. So now we're asking these riders to multitask. As they go around one circle, they should be going with lots of forward momentum, making the horse go forward, bending the horse around their inside leg, and using their inside hand. As they approach the jugs, they're going to let the horse straighten out, and as they leave the jugs, they're going to re-bend the horse in the new direction. So our riders at this level should be able to do more than one task and be able to put it together smoothly, so there's very positive communication between the horse and the rider. At this stage, we should be able to do it at the walk, at the jog, and at the trot. The next rein effect that we're going to talk about is called the indirect rein. The indirect rein is a lead up to the neck rein. So it's the neck rein when we ride with 2 hands. The outside rein is the indirect rein. When we ask for the turn, the rider will calmly put slight pressure on the outside of the neck and very little pressure on the horse's mouth on that outside side. The horse should turn its head away from that pressure. Many horses will not do this. It takes quite a bit of training to get them to do this. So what we do is that inside rein, we just ride with it loose when we ask for the turn. When we can't see the eyelashes of the horse when it turns, then we pick up on the inside rein and help it. Once the rider has practiced the indirect rein, they are now ready to go on to one-handed riding, and that is called neck reining. The first thing they need to learn is how to hold the reins correctly. So we're going to demonstrate this. This rider has chosen that he wants to ride with his left hand on the reins. So he takes a hold of the reins with his right hand. Then he's going to put his left hand way up in the air, point down with his pointy finger. He's going to bring that finger down between the reins and then slowly close his fingers around the reins. That is how you hold the reins if you are riding with one hand. There is only one other option. That option is riding with one finger between the reins. The other option is take that finger out from between the reins and put it around the reins with the other finger. Notice the loose end of the reins, which is called the bite, should fall on the same side as the horse as the hand that the rider has chosen to ride with. There is not a correct hand. Either hand is acceptable. Once our rider has achieved neck reining, then we can start to challenge him. Watch this rider. As he goes towards the cone, his hand should stay in between his shoulders. He shouldn't have his hand way outside. If he cannot see the eye of the horse on the side he's turning to, then he will have to reach down with his free hand and correct that. Notice his legs. As he turns, the leg on the left side will be closed to help her turn. The leg on the other side will be open to invite her to turn. So his focus is up